All right, we can set up right here on Gladys Wilburn. Hope you don't mind, Gladys. All right, here we go. Welcome to Podcast Cemetery.
Shit.
What?
That's ridiculous. All right.
We're your hosts. We have Dave P. Kolb.
Hello.
And I am Critical. And we picked another spot here. We looked for that old woman from earlier. Nobody's around. It's just us. And so we're going
quiet tonight in the cemetery.
Still cold.
It is cold.
It's freezing. Yeah. And I think this is the dumbest idea I ever came up with, to be out here in the cemetery. I'm sorry, Dave P. Kolb.
That's all right. At least we got a good musical soundtrack to accompany us. So
yeah, right. So we're going to be discussing one particular video game that's going to be coming out the 27th?
25th. It's Friday. It's
Friday. That's right. Friday.
Well, okay. It's probably already passed. We're probably playing it right now.
Right.
As you're listening to this?
Yeah. Hey, watch out for that zombie, Dave.
We're in the cemetery playing the game on top of, what's her name? Gladys.
Gladys, yes. Gladys doesn't mind. I hope Gladys doesn't mind.
What was that?
Anyway, forget it. That was probably a zombie. Anyway, yeah, so we will be talking about Resident Evil. I am so excited for Resident Evil, man.
Yeah, me too. We're going to go through the whole series tonight.
Yeah.
So, but I guess we can start by talking about the remake of Resident Evil 2, which is out now. We're playing it
right now
as you're listening to this.
Yes, we are. We're not doing any more podcasts because this game is so awesome right now.
It's gonna be a while before the next one.
Yeah. So, but no, I can't wait for it. As we kind of did a little sneak peek on it on the first podcast, and I really think that you're gonna feel frustrated. It's gonna be a very frustrating game. The simple fact that especially people who like to shoot them up, like kill everything. Mm-hmm. Now you can't do it, or people that don't even know. Like, think about the people that don't know they can kill. They're not supposed to kill everything, and they're going to be wasting all their ammo,
right?
Running around, getting chased by Mr. X, avoiding zombies that's popping out. Got lickers crawling on the ceiling like they're the beasts from Glass and Split, crawling all on the ceiling and walls. And they're thinking that, I can just shoot up any zombie I want to, and no, you're not going to have all your ammo.
No, you're killing yourself. Yourself. You gotta play the long game.
Yeah. Pause. Yeah, so
it's good to be long.
Yeah. Pause. But yeah, man. So but I think it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see what puzzles they're gonna have on the game.
How it's gonna be different. Although it's been forever since I've played Resident Evil 2.
Right.
And that one came out in what? Well, I'll tell you right now. 1998.
Wow, 1998. I was my second year in college.
Yep. I was a junior in high school, I think.
Man, you're young.
Yeah. I'm a youngin'. But actually, that was... The more I think about this game, the remake, the more excited I get about it, because it was the first... Resident Evil 2 was really the first Resident Evil game that I played. I remember seeing... the first one on PC at a friend's house, but I never really got into it until years later. Like, I never got to play it. So I started with Resident Evil 2. My brother and I played it together. And it was just an awesome experience, like playing it that first time, because the survival horror was really in its early stages in video games. So it's a great game, so I'm excited to see what kind of updates they have for it.
Right.
To see it on the PS4 on the modern console.
Yes.
I think it's gonna look amazing.
Unfortunately, it doesn't support the VR.
Right, which is kind of surprising.
Right, but the good news is this, though: when you play VR, you can play VR on all games, but it looks like you're in a personal movie theater.
If it's not made for VR.
Right,
Okay.
right. So it's like you're on a big screen. It's like you're like an isolated movie theater, just you, and you get to see it up in the big screen in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be kind of cool. I don't know what that does to your eyes. I don't know what the hell, but I'm kind of interested in getting the VR to play Part 7, but also to see this
because
game
Resident
on
Evil
the big
7
screen.
you can play on VR.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And it is creepy. But we're going to get more into 7. But, man, for, I don't know, like 2, man, I feel that it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see, because you get to play Ada Wong. Get to play as her.
Oh, really?
You get to do interesting things, like you get to short circuit electrical circuits. You get to like to get in through certain crevices or whatever. Like it might be a fan that's swirling, and then you get to use this device and it'll cut everything off, and so you can crawl through and do things like that. Now I don't know. I'm pretty sure each character has something special. It might be one character that's faster than another character, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's kind of going to be like Mario Brothers 2, where each character does
something different.
Somebody's stronger, somebody holds more items. I don't know, but Ada Wong, she definitely is different from. It's not Jill. What's her name? Chris Redfield's sister.
Claire.
Claire. Yeah.
Is that who? So it was Leon and Claire,
right,
in the original.
Correct.
Okay, but is she back in this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's additional playable characters.
Right.
Okay.
Well, so far Ada Wong.
Ada Wong is the only other one
you
we
might
know
get to play
about.
with the little girl, because you played with the little girl in the second one, I think. Remember, it was a little girl that you get. No, that was part 4, where you use the little girl to go in things and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but I think they're thinking about doing that for this one, because you have Mr. X, which I swear I don't remember anybody on part 2 that was like the Nemesis. I felt like the Nemesis was the first.
Yeah, I don't either.
That doesn't come to mind at all. So. Oh, okay. Yeah. So now I thought I heard something at the bottom of the down here with Gladys.
Yeah, something's stirring in the ground.
So if we pause, we might just we're just tripping, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing. But anyway, yeah. So anything that you discovered on part 2 that you're really interested in, or you're like, nah, I'm not feeling?
No. I mean, I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be interesting.
So that's cool, man. So I can't wait for that. And also, I was introduced to the Resident Evil franchise through part 1, and
the original PlayStation version.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
I didn't have a PlayStation. I was against PlayStation at the time. I was pro Super Nintendo, and even though PlayStation was better than the Super Nintendo, but
was that Super Nintendo or was that 64?
It probably was. Well, see, I didn't have a 64 at the time. The last thing I had before I went to a PlayStation was
Super
Nintendo. I want to say Nintendo 64 came out after PlayStation. Does that sound right?
I mean, it could. I think that is right.
Okay.
I think because I want to say Sega Saturn was around the same time as PlayStation.
Yeah, I was against Sega.
And that was a total flop.
Right. I had no Saturn systems or games or anything like that. My cousin had that. I hated their graphics, but yeah. So what really turned me to PlayStation was Resident Evil, and I was a PlayStation hater. I played, I think, Street Fighter Alpha on there or something like that. But then afterwards, a friend was like, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my PlayStation over to a friend who I grew up with named Kiani. Shout out to you. I'm gonna bring it over to his house and we can play it then." And when I played it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is scary." You know what I'm saying? And this changed everything. I changed everything about my whole ideals about PlayStation, and it was suspenseful, man. And yeah, that was my PlayStation, my introduction to Resident Evil. So, did you play Resident Evil 1? I want to say PlayStation for some reason. Resident Evil 1.
I did, but I actually didn't. I didn't really play the game until they released it for GameCube. They did an updated version. They added some new stuff to it. And so I played that one, and that was the first time I'd really gotten to play the game all the way through. And yeah, I mean, it's still held up. I mean,
okay.
Okay. It's a brilliant game. It really is. Nothing's freakier than going up those stairs and seeing the liquor
Right, and the frog
outside,
people.
and you're like, what the shit is that?
Right.
And you know it's coming for you.
Right.
You know.
Remember the frogs that'll jump up and lop? If you have low energy, they'll lop your head off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I used to hate those frogs. And then, but the funny story I had with part 2, because we mentioned earlier that I played part 2, the original, in college, and I remember it was a guy. Like, I played a little bit. I didn't own it at the time, but I remember it was a guy. He was like the video game master at our school. His name was Chris, and he would sit up there and have all the games, the final what do you call it? I can't. Cloud.
Final
Fantasy
7?
game. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
Like, he had all tricks where he would go to class and he would have Cloud fighting these monsters to build up his energy. And then when he comes out of class, all of his classes, Cloud's energy is built up. He did all kind of crazy shit. So I'll never forget the time that he had Resident Evil and he had to go to class. Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And he had to go to class. This happened twice. I did this with Final Fantasy. He was struggling with Final Fantasy. No, he went to class with Final Fantasy. And when he came back in, I beat the game. And I never played Final Fantasy before in my life.
As he walked in
Walked in. And then another time with Resident Evil 2, we were passing the controllers around because he couldn't beat the last guy.
Uh-huh.
And it got back to me and I beat the last guy. And he said, and it walked out the room.
That was Resident Evil 2?
That was Resident Evil 2, yeah. So I definitely remember Resident Evil 2, man. So that was a fun game. It's kind of a blur, to be honest with you, like the ending. But
yeah,
come to think
that's
of it
so
now,
long ago, man.
Yeah. And then, so did you? You said that was your first time playing Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience?
It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it really opened my eyes to a different type of gameplay, to the horror game, and what the possibilities were for that genre. And I love the puzzling. It reminded me of 11th Hour, which was an old PC game where you like wake up in a mansion and you don't remember who you are or why you're there, and you're like wandering around. You got to solve all these puzzles to get clues to figure out like what happened. And so it had that sort of vibe to it, but also with zombies, and you got to save your ammunition and and all of that too. So it was like more of a video game than 11th Hour, because 11th Hour was all about the puzzles, but it also had that element to it, which I think was a good balance.
Okay. What about part 3 for you?
Well, did you have a top? Did you rank the
I did.
games?
I
you
did.
Want to go through your ranking?
We did.
I didn't do that, and then we can just talk about them as we go through your rankings.
Okay, cool. So I have to give the number. Well, I'll start off at the bottom. Number 6. Well, what number is this? I guess is this number 6? The 7, 8? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So 8. I don't have a top 10, and there's a lot of Resident Evil games I didn't play, so forgive me for that. So I'm gonna leave certain things off my list.
Yeah, this is basically the regular series, like the survival horror, not all the like first person shooter spin-offs and all that. Like, we're just going through the main series.
Right. So at number 8, I believe, was Resident Evil 6. This is when they were in Africa. No, that's not it. Number 6. What was 6? 6 was the one we had the three choices. You played Chris Redfield's story. Then it's another guy that's like a mechanical dude. He has blonde hair, and like Chris Redfield's more so military. It's like a military story. Then you had Leon. His story was more Resident Evil, but it was action. And that was the worst one to me. I didn't even want to finish it. I
never even played the 6.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't even worth it, man. I had Keith over, one of my partners. He was like, man, this sucks, and he left my place. He never came back. so then afterwards, I was trying to defend it while he was there, and then I was playing it, and I was like, he's right. And I just took it out. But I wasn't feeling that, so I have to drop that in last place. That's number 6. Resident Evil 5, that was the one they were in Africa.
And that one we played together.
We played together.
Yeah. That one was cool.
It was cool. It wasn't. I mean, it's not ranked below because it sucked to me. It just ranked below because just wasn't good as the rest of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
I agree.
And you get the, because did they have split screen at one point if you get too far away, or you had to wait on the other person? I can't remember.
No, you know what? I think you had to wait.
Oh, okay.
I think you had to wait on that one.
That was cool because you could interact. I don't think that was bad. I mean, of course, you waiting is one thing, but the interaction, somebody actually having your back, because sometimes I think when you had the bots that were helping you out, it didn't really help out that much because they
just do stupid shit.
Yeah, they're like doing the running man in the corner. You're like, what the hell are you doing? So yeah, so you had that one. Code Veronica is the next one for me. I did like Code Veronica. The only thing is I only remember the ending because it took me so long to beat the ending, and that's the only thing I remember about the game. Now you said you're in the mansion, right?
Yeah, Code Veronica. You start out in a mansion, and it's like I can't remember exactly the story, but I remember there was like these twin kids.
Right.
And it was like some family in the mansion, and they were doing some weird experiment shit, and then you end up in like a science lab, basically.
Right.
And like it goes so far away from the mansion that you hardly even remember ever being in the mansion.
Right. Because that's when you're in a cold place, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's in I guess it was in Alaska or something.
Yeah, somewhere.
I remember snow everywhere.
Yeah.
But that one was interesting because it was the first Resident Evil game that wasn't on PlayStation. It was a Dreamcast game. And it was originally supposed to be Resident Evil 3.
Really?
Yeah, so that was actually developed as Resident Evil 3, and then Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was supposed to be a spin-off game. But then they ended up releasing that on PlayStation as Resident Evil 3, and then Code Veronica was just called Code Veronica.
Got you. Okay, because that was with Chris Redfield.
It was Claire.
Claire.
It was Claire, yeah.
Oh, Claire. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that was part 2 was Claire, too, right? So it was a
Claire and
continuation
Leon.
of her story from part 2.
Does she meet her brother? No, I know. Wait, in the part
Maybe.
2, I think in the part 2 she was like, because
She
like
was
somebody
looking for him still, right?
Right, because missiles shoots at the city or they blow it up or something like that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh shit, what happens?" See, then I was confused. Now I'm confused because I know it was a part where he was looking for her too. He finds out about this, I guess where she was going to be or possibly maybe. And I know it ends that way, but I don't know which one it was though. I can't remember.
Yeah. It's been too long.
Yeah. So then you got Resident Evil 2. I have that next, and that was a pretty good game. You had 2 discs, and we mentioned
one for Leon and one for Claire.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Resident Evil 4. A lot of people actually like the Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil game. Because all the what do you call it? The something time.
I don't know.
No, okay.
What's it?
Oh, okay. No, yeah, it's something where it's like an action thing with Leon. Like you'll press a button, like react time or something, quick react time. I think that's when they introduced that into Resident Evil, if I'm not mistaken. And so,
Oh, okay.
So that was cool.
And that was the first one that didn't have zombies so much as like infected villagers. They were like chasing you with pitchforks. It was like in Spain or something.
Yeah,
is where the game
like,
took place.
They were saying Lord Settler, and then like you hear the bell, and you go, oh, Lord Settler.
That one was cool. That was a really good one. I liked that a lot. I thought it kind of put a new spin on the franchise.
It did. It changed. It changed the whole zombie. It almost made it like creeps. Remember that old 80s or early 90s movie? Those slugs that turn you into zombies?
Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded you of that, if I'm not mistaken, because there were things that were making... It was like beings inside of them that were making them kind of almost zombie-like. You know what I mean? So they weren't necessarily just zombies. And then you have 3... for my number 3, actually... with the Nemesis. I thought the Nemesis kept you on your toes. It was hard to, really shake him. It was hard to really do things you wanted to do. You didn't want to be in tight spaces.
Right.
And so yeah, I definitely have to say Resident Evil 3 for me was number 3. And
I liked the Nemesis aspect of 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably one of my least favorites because it didn't feel like a Resident Evil game so much.
Gotcha.
And then when I found out that it was supposed to be a spin-off originally, that kind of made sense to me. I was like, oh, well, that kind of was why it sort of felt off for me.
Oh, okay.
But it was a fun game because it, having the Nemesis following you the whole time, and like he would just pop up
right
at the worst possible times and start chasing you.
Right.
Like, that was nerve-wracking, so it was a really good game.
I'm sorry, did you play 4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you talk about 4? I'm sorry, I kind of skipped over 4.
No, we talked about 4.
You talked about it?
The one in Spain.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your... You said you liked it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 4 was really good.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but 3, yeah. Okay. I think it was 3 where you had the extra games. I think it was one of them where you fight as mercenaries.
Oh,
and
really?
you would get points. Like, yeah, it was like ones where you would like have to go through different boards or different levels. That might have been part 4. I can't remember. But you fight as the mercenaries. Then it was another one. You fight as Tofu. One you fight as Hunk. Hunk is this guy, like, I guess everything happened. The soldiers got killed. He wakes up. After the game is over, he wakes up, and you have to go the opposite way to get out. And you only have a knife, if I'm not mistaken. And you got to fight your way out.
That's
to
weird.
because it's like some type of serum that you have, and he has to get out of it. But yeah, 3 I did like about 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the mercenary one. But 3, they had choices on certain situations. And I thought that was cool. And I think they need to bring that back.
Yeah.
Having choices where having alternate endings, because that's what the first, just having alternate endings. I think that's what really, or just having alternate stories. That's what makes things pretty fun, But you said you didn't really feel 3 that much. It was just all right to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But my favorite one, number 2, I have to say, is Resident Evil 7, especially with the VR. I mean, I would have made it number 1, but but 7, I felt like it changed the game. It was creepier. It was the scariest one. When you have the VR on, when I play it, because sometimes you have to get used to the controls, and the character isn't running as fast if you don't know how to use the controls just yet. You have to get like adjusted, and so I run in place, and I'm like this, because I just want to run, and the creature's behind me grabbing me and stuff like that, and I'm like run, and I'm getting really frustrated. But
so if it grabs you from behind, do you see like the hands come out from behind you in the VR?
Well, it depends on where
thing,
you're
or?
looking. Like you could see the hands,
so
cool. So it depends on where you're looking.
Wow.
So like if you turn around, you can see them
It's
behind
right on you. Yeah.
Wow. So it's a very interesting game, and it's more intense. It's very intense. I wish they can like check your heart rate when you use the VR on Part 7. Because like it's very uncomfortable, because it's uncomfortable without the VR. Because I used it without the VR, but I went to my cousin's crib and he has the VR, and he wanted me to get past the level for him. He jumped into bed and went to sleep. So I'm over here talking to him like, "Hey, so and so," and he's not saying anything back, and I hear snoring. I'm like, "Hell, okay." So, but that part was crazy, and it should be number 1, but I'm going to give the number 1 to Resident Evil 1, because I'm pretty sure there were other horror games that have come out that that represented horror. Like you had Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, which was stupid. You had Friday the 13th.
They tried to make that Friday the 13th game. Was it last year that it came out, or the year before?
Yeah, that one. Well, it's 2 of them. You had the last one that came out last year, which was okay. Then you had the one that was kind of, I think this one was a spinoff. Not a spinoff, but it got the idea from the original, where you have the purple suit. Like Jason has a purple hockey mask and a purple suit, and he's like,
Splatterhouse?
No, it was like Friday the 13th.
It was Friday the 13th, really?
And it's like you have to jump over zombies. It was stupid, but and then you have to go in the house. You have to find his mother's head, something weird like that. And then
was it what system?
I was Nintendo.
Was it?
I would say Nintendo. Yeah, it was Nintendo. And then And it was certain parts that would scare me because you go in a house and nothing's there. You look around the house, nothing's there. You go into another house or camp because you're in a camp, right? So it's like the cabin. Go in the cabin, nothing's there. Go in this cabin, nothing's there. There's Jason's in front of you, like, whoa! You know what I mean? But it's still stupid, but it scared you. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I the other horror games. It's the one that I think that was banned on Sega Genesis or Sega. What's the one with the Sega CD, I believe? And you're like vampires or something, and they choke you instead
of... Night something. What was the name of that? I'm not going to think of it now.
No, that's cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all the older people know what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But I would have to say Resident Evil because they made horror games fun. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Silent Hill came out before Resident Evil in Japan. And...
No, I don't think so.
You know?
I think Resident Evil was the first.
It was the first, okay. So, but I would say it was the first, it wasn't the first movie they made, movie spin-off or whatever that they, used or whatever. But I would say that to make sequels, it's like the first game that had so many sequels in a movie. You know what I mean? Like, it really... really open, things wide open for, from Resident Evil.
Now, the first Silent Hill came out in 99, and Resident Evil was 96.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I would have to say Resident Evil. I think it left a big imprint. And so even though it's not better than 7, and, it's probably not better than a lot of these. I don't think it's better than 4. I don't think it's better than 2, but it started everything. You know what I mean? It was, the dialogue was clunky, the graphics were clunky. You know what I mean? So, I mean, of course, it wouldn't be the best, but it started everything. If it wasn't for one, it wouldn't be.
But I think it does still hold up. I mean, I think it's still a great game. Like, even playing it now. You skipped one though. You missed one. You left one out.
I did?
Yeah. 0.
Oh, I didn't play 0. You didn't play 0? Did you play 0?
Yeah.
Oh, how'd you like it?
I like 0. I thought
okay.
It was really
Is that
good.
when you're on the train?
Yeah, you're on the. Yeah, there's a train, and you're playing. You play 2 different characters, but it was kind of cool because, like, one character would get like trapped somewhere, and the other character would have to like go and find a key item to bring it back to him and somehow get it to the other character so they could use it to escape. So it kind of like. It was kind of like co-op, but not.
Oh, okay.
Because it was still one player.
Oh, well, okay.
But it was cool, and it was a good game. It had a good story.
Is that the one with the locksmith? The girl that was good with locks?
I think so.
Because she was on part 1 or 2. She was on something.
Yeah. I don't remember actually.
And then there was another guy with the super big tattoo, like the tattoo that, like, what was the movie that Quentin Tarantino did with the zombies and the women? That nasty scene where the girl's pouring wine down her leg into his mouth. So gross.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Remember the tattoo that what's his name had? I can't think of the actor's name.
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Oh,
yeah, it was a guy that had the same tattoo.
Was that in 0?
I thought it was.
It may be. I can't remember.
Because it was a girl. Do you remember a dude that was?
Yeah, it was a guy and a girl.
Okay.
The 2 playable characters.
Okay.
But they actually did. There's a. They did ports for both of those games for the PS4, and they sold it as one disc, so you can play 0 and Resident Evil on PS4, and it's on one disc.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So it was because 0 happened, I guess, before part 1.
Yeah, it's like a prequel to the original. So
okay, that explains why she was already in the house, because I think she would like get you medicine or something like that, or wasn't that in part 1? The girl, she'll just like, you'll run into her, and then she'll be like, here's some medicine, and then she'll run away. Hey, I hear something. I'm just gonna run away. And then, like, wait, where you going? And then you're left, and you hear this eerie music, So it's like, oh shit. So, but yeah, I definitely need to check out 0.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Hopefully, I'm pretty sure it has better graphics on PS4.
The PS4, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be good, man. And they do need to remake the Resident Evils over in the movie theaters. That would be awesome. They do.
Make it actually a horror movie.
Make it actually.
That would be a good idea. Yeah.
I wasn't too mad at the first one. Even though they stole the best scene was the scene they stole from Cube, but
I was more mad at the first one than the rest of them.
really,
Yeah, because the first one was like, why? This is not a horror movie. What's going on?
True.
And the second one is like, well, I already know it's not going to be a horror movie, so I can get on board. Just let it rip, like whatever.
I don't know. I think I was just mesmerized by Michelle Rodriguez. I was just like, all right. It is what it is. It's not a horror movie. Oh well. But nah. So, but yeah, I mean that's our opinion. You know what I'm saying on the different Resident Evils.
Whoa.
Sorry about that. No, I thought
that was something under. That was
hey, that's crazy.
The ground's moving down here.
That's probably like one of those anteaters. You know, like anteaters. Yeah, you know, not anteaters. What do you call it? Ant lions. Ant lions. You never seen an ant lion where like the ant will be crawling in the dirt and someone suck the ant in it?
No.
Yeah, they call them ant. I never seen them, but I always see the ant crawling in dirt. The next thing you know, it'll just get. Oh shit!
Oh.
All right, I'm about to go. What's that fucking?
The ground's moving. It's really moving. Something's coming up. Oh shit, that's a hand.
That's fucking hand. All right, we gotta go. All right, let's go.
See you next week.
All right.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.